welcome to the very first episode of Living Rent Free. She's So Random. I'm your host, Aysia BerLynn. And today's topic is one that I think is on the mind of so many millennials. It's retirement. Do we take our time and dive into retirement? Do we rest? Do we keep going? We're going to talk about it today, and I have a special guest, a very special guest, who is near and dear to my heart. His name is Richard McKinley, who's also my uncle. So happy to have him here. Hi, Uncle. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I am very happy to have you. Let's see. Sorry about that. Very happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about how you got to retirement, I guess.
Okay, a brief summary. I'm a native of St. Louis, Missouri. I went to college at San Diego State University, got a degree in social work, and got a master's in counseling. So I entered into my field. I didn't think it would be successful for is actually counseling. So I kind of deviated and went over to business. And that was horrible because I am a social worker and I love people. So, however, I was working with people, but it was a disaster. Did that for 2 years, then moved over to transferred, and that was in Vegas. Transferred over to California, to Los Angeles, California, and worked in children's services for 36 years.
Oh,
I started there as a social worker, and the great thing about it, the department, I was able to move up and to really get in some good spaces and do some good work. So I worked there for 36 years, ended up being a manager, assistant regional administrator, which was really what my calling was to do, was to be a social worker and to really guide staff into how to do that kind of work and support them through that kind of work. And so I did that, and the department was great because, and I'm saying it's great because it offered all kinds of promotions and all kinds of laterals. So that means I never really got bored there in that space because every 3 years, once I learned the position, I moved on to something else. Well, and then I retired. I said it before as assistant regional administrator, meaning that I had a staff of about at one time or another, probably 75 people. And we service a high risk community. Well, anybody know anything about children's services, it's really high risk period. But when you work in an inner city, such as large as Los Angeles, one of the largest counties, and then keep in mind the Department of Children and Family Services was too large. It's two departments, but it's really large, and that's L.A. and New York. So I hit it. I hit it on the nose. I got one of the largest departments.
that's awesome.
So and I was in inner city, and that means we serve Compton, Los Angeles, the Watts area. So it was really a lot of stuff going on
Yeah.
in that area. However, after COVID and after working 30 for COVID, I think I was at probably like 34 years
hmm
when COVID started. And fortunately, I don't know the computer as well as you guys do, the new millennium. I don't know that. So when COVID hit, it was really difficult for me to maintain doing meetings and I had a secretary, so my secretary did pretty much everything for me.
Yeah.
So going back and forth and had to be in meetings and I would get so frustrated and probably it was probably some of the learning curve, but I'm not really knowing it's the learning curve. So the frustration really kind of moved me and start thinking, maybe it's time for me to move on.
Yeah.
I was 63 and I'm thinking maybe it's time for me to move on and to really do some other things and really take myself home and relax and to enjoy what the rest of life I have. So I decided to retire, and the good thing too, I'm gonna tell you, the county, LA County, and didn't pay bad. And the good thing is, I had a really decent retirement. Some people say it's not a lot of money, but I got 70% of my salary.
Yeah.
Plus, they all had offered me a 401k, and you put 4% down, or 4% in the monthly, and then they'll add another 4, so that's 8%. But if you put in 2% more, you put six, you have 10%. So that was a great saving. And then also, when you become a manager, they give you another packet with 4%.
Oh
So
wow.
with two of those, I had the ample amount of money to retire. So I decided that I'm going to come home and just retire. And really, one little thing I didn't do, I didn't research before I retired. I didn't research, which was that's a hiccup, but yet you still work through it.
What
And
would you?
what I mean by
Yeah.
researching is what the things that I could have done. Being an administrator, I kind of cut myself out of everything
Hmm.
because of the calls were coming through a lot, and when I got home, it was like 8 and 9 and 10 o'clock, and so I didn't have time to really kind of develop. I had an outside life prior to become administrator, but before that, I really didn't. I mean, after that, I didn't. So I kind of dedicated myself to my job.
Okay.
So if I that I should have done, just kind of research, but actually, it's been awesome. But I think I've answered your question, so I'll let you ask me another question.
Okay.
Okay.
So, when you're like, all right, it's time for me to retire. What was the ideal retirement in your mind? Just in your mind, what you thought, just from speaking about it or hearing about other people retire or people before you.
Well, I think my idea was to come home and to really enjoy the rest of my life,
Okay.
meaning to come home to relax, travel, meet with family. I live out of state where my family doesn't live here, so get with my family. Those were the ideal things for me,
Okay.
and to really kind of really continue my learning,
Okay.
working out, getting healthier. Because when I was working, you really didn't have time to. I walked, but I really didn't get an opportunity to really get into my walking regimen. But those things, I'm sorry, walking, meeting with family, traveling, and just relaxing, having a good time,
Yeah.
having a good time.
Yeah, because we punched the clock. Woo, from what age 15 to 60 something, and it's like
Yes,
constantly working to retire, right? And
yeah,
so
yes.
resting, yeah, that would be my idea. Traveling, doing the same. So so did you end up doing exactly what you had in mind? Did you now that you've been retired, how long have you been retired now?
Actually, in a couple more weeks, it'll be 3 years. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're coming up on 3 years. So did you end up doing some of that relaxing and traveling so far? Has that kind of been some things that you've crossed off your list?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I've been able to relax, and your uncle. Your uncle don't relax that much, but I've really developed a practice of relaxing now.
Okay.
Have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about I have to get up early in the morning. I don't have to worry about I need to have something to wear to work, or I need to make a lunch or any of that. So yeah, I get a chance to really, really relax. However, I think my schedule was a little bit more busier than work.
What?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Because you get involved with like other friends who have retired, other organizations now that I'm involved with, and they call on you, especially since you retired, because you got a lot
Yeah.
of time. You got a lot of time. So I find my schedule being pretty busy. And when I do walk, I come home and take a nap.
Because you can do
uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you can
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
You can do it.
So, is there any pointers that you can give based on what seems to be, from what I've seen, a pretty successful retirement? You have, I guess, typically the main worry is, do I have enough to retire? Like, do I have enough put away? So you have enough put away. And then, like, am I in good enough health to do that? You are in good health. You are able to move around. You're able to experience life in a different way now that you're not clocking every single hour of the day. So, what pointers can you give someone based on your successful retirement? Not based on what people think they should do, but based on like your experience.
Well, I think the biggest thing is saving. Well, My dad, your grandpa, would always say, sorry, would always say 10% of your earnings.
Yeah.
He always said that to me, and I remember that when I started working. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, is saving, making sure I had enough money to really come home and really do what I want to do, and not worry about my finance.
Yeah.
And another thing is what was I gonna say? Um, yeah, the finance I think is the biggest part, Asia. And yeah, I saw at my job, I saw a lot of people. They didn't make it. They didn't make it to retirement,
Mm.
meaning that they died prior to retirement. And then I saw people who were retiring a month later, they would die. So in my head, I start thinking too when that COVID started coming up, because COVID really made people think
Yeah.
what we were doing and how we were living our lives. So I thought, I said, I don't want to die as soon as I retire. I want to be able to spend some of the money that I saved. Or I
Yeah.
want to be able to have a good time. So it really kind of moved me out and saying, those are the things to look at. My money, my health, am I healthy? Can I get up in the morning and go walking?
Yeah.
Can I take a trip to Africa on a long flight? So those are things I began to kind of think about in my head.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, okay, you're healthy. Check that off. You have
Yes.
enough money saved. Check that off. Now is the time. Everything is okay at home. All your bills are paid. Was all our bills paid? Financially, was we stable enough to make a move to say, okay, we don't have to worry about bills. So those are the things I kind of looked at: finance, my health. And, is it time for me to leave out of there? And those are the things that were really important to me.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Financially, can we maintain? Although, believe it or not, you bring home more money when you retire, and you don't spend as much when you retire.
Hmm.
You don't spend as much because you're not gassing up all the time. You're
Yeah.
not taking your clothes to get them clean. You're not buying a lot of new clothes.
Right.
You know.
Cause
Hmm?
well, but you still go a lot of places, right?
Yeah. You don't like clothes, but the thing is, you minimize.
Yeah.
You begin to minimize the things that you buy. Are they important to buy? How many times are you going to wear them?
Yeah.
Am I going to wear this to two parties, or I'm just going to wear it to one party? If I'm wearing it to one party, I'm not going to buy it. It doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
to buy it. And I wouldn't consider myself on a fixed budget. I just don't want to waste money.
No.
I don't
No.
want to waste money. Yeah.
Okay. So, how did your expectations of retirement compare to reality? So you're here now, 3 years in, and we talked about this. I mean, in a different way, but your expectations of what retirement looked like. So not just what you thought you'd do, but your expectations of retirement.
Uh, I It meets my expectations. It makes my expectations, my retirement. I thought I was going to relax. I thought I was going to travel. I thought I was going to have fun. I thought I was going to be able to see my family. And all of this happened.
Yes.
All of this happened plus more.
Yeah.
All of this happened plus more. So it has met my expectations. And yeah, it really has.
Would you so you retired at what age?
I, excuse me.
Hmm.
I was 63.
63. Is that
Yes.
right on target? But a little early.
Well, it's a little early. Well,
Yeah.
a couple years early.
Yeah, I think. Do you feel like that was a good move, like to retire a couple years early, based on your lifestyle versus waiting? I think it's till it's 65 or 66.
The reason I say yes for myself, because I had the money saved. I had the 401k,
Mm-hmm.
so I would say yes. That was a good time for me to retire, and the biggest part, I was healthy.
Yes.
I was healthy,
Right.
so that was a big part for me, and I can go ahead and enjoy the. Well, if, let's say, for example, if I had three more years, that would be 66. However, I've gotten them. Then I wanted to have a block of time
Yeah.
where I can kind of be and do what I wanted to do, and it's happened.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask you, how do you stay motivated and find purpose after retirement? But you, you have lots that you do. But what is that motivating factor for you now that you don't have to get up and punch a clock? I would say what I think in my mind would be that retirement is for you, is for the person that's taking the time. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you know what I did? I sat down in meditation
Mm-hmm.
and I asked Spirit and myself, what do I enjoy doing? Where do I need to be? Some of them came up, some of them didn't, and some of it's still coming up. So
Yeah.
it takes a while for it to really to manifest for yourself. But some things came up, and I wrote them down.
Yeah.
And like hobbies, what do I like? What? And then the biggest thing for me, I said, what make me happy? Because I want to be happy. What makes me happy? So art makes me happy. Being around people, visiting my family, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I wrote all those things down, and I start, and I this is really kind of crazy, but I did it. I wrote, and because you make a list at work or whatever, so I make
Yeah.
myself a list, and I start making myself a list every week. I
Okay.
would kind of what I'm gonna do this week, and I start putting like these galleries in my on my list. I start putting I'm gonna go to meet this artist. I'm gonna go and take this art workshop. I'm gonna go to lunch with so many people this week from my job, and they've retired.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna call some new people up that hadn't retired and say, hey, I want to go lunch with you. Are you available for lunch? So those are the things I started doing. I started looking at trips and I started writing them down. I'm gonna go to St. Louis. I'm gonna go visit my brother. And I put
Yeah.
the date down. So those things really kind of pushed me to really kind of make sure that things are going on in my life. Then I said, I'm gonna join me an organization by this date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put those things in place for myself, and that really kind of helped because I wrote them down, and I sat with myself and was open for
Yeah.
stuff to come up for me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
I feel like of course, I'm not to retirement yet, but I think I should be doing that once a week at least. That would be a good practice for me to kind of
Yes,
write down some things that I want to do, and so that I can get to them and manifest them that way. I haven't been doing that lately, so yeah.
it really, really helps you because you see them. Seeing them on paper,
Yeah.
you see them, and you can kind of like, okay, and okay, this week this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move forward towards this one, and then if it doesn't happen this week, you can always put it for next week too.
Yeah.
You can always add it to your next list.
That's always been a challenge of mine because I'm like, oh man, I didn't cross that off. So moving it to my next list, it feels like maybe I didn't succeed at something, but really, it's just giving myself allowing grace for me to get to that next.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then when you do complete it, you're like, wow, I did that. I really made that happen.
Yeah.
So you give yourself a pat on the back. And then let me tell you another thing. It gives you another like push to make sure that other things are done on your list too. It
Yeah.
encourages you to do others. It
Okay.
really does.
I'm gonna get back to that. Everybody
Yes.
should get to that. Everybody should. Okay, so how do you balance your personal goals with financial stability while in retirement? I know you spoke about making sure that you have enough. So when you do go into retirement, that you're not, pinching pennies. So what would you say? Is that one of your main pointers that you would give?
Yes. You know what I did?
Hmm.
We paid up all our bills.
Really?
So yeah, we paid up all our bills. That was important for us to pay up all our bills off so we can have extra amount of money and then we wouldn't have this amount of money that we're paying on bills and we didn't create any well we didn't have it we paid off our large bills, all of them. So we have one credit card now. Jerome, my husband, a little different, but we paid up we paid our bills off,
Yeah.
and that made it really easy for us to go into retirement. Really easy
Yeah.
because we didn't have financially we didn't have a lot hanging over our heads. So that means the money that comes in, basically, we can spend with having fun.
Yeah. Ah, that's
Hmm.
the life. You're making this sound
It,
really good. I'm
it
like,
is good. Wait till you get there, girl. You're gonna say, "Uncle told me." This is really a good life. Yes.
Okay. I think you might have touched on this a little bit, but looking back, is there anything that you would have done throughout your years of working and planning that you would have planned differently? Anything at
Hmm. The only thing I think I would have done too was really stayed involved in the outside of my job,
all? Okay.
staying involved in organizations in the city. That's the only thing I think I would have did differently. You know, because then you have to go back in, you have to make new friends in those organizations, which you could have already had.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been like maybe I didn't have to go every month to the meetings every month. I could have did every other month, something like that. But that's the only thing I think I would have done differently. Um, that's the only thing I think I would have done differently.
Okay.
It's just really staying involved in the community and not had to recreate that for myself.
Do you feel like in retirement age, because I know like I feel like it's a little bit difficult to make new friends just in general. But do you think in retirement and retirement age, is it difficult to make new friends that you will feel would be long lasting as well?
That's a good question. Um, I um, I I think you're right. It's been a little difficult. So what I've done too, if I've rekindled some of my old friendships that I kind of left dormant for a minute,
Hmm.
I kind of went back to them, rekindled those, and then when I go out, and it's not sometimes to me it's not about the friendship. Sometimes it's just about making connection with people. Period.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, what I do is like when I go to a gallery or I go out to the grocery store, I tell myself today is my day. I need to, and I do this, try to do this like once a week. But if I go to a show, that's the thing. I have to make connection with three people. So
Okay.
that means talking to them. So that started like talking to them. And then I said, no, I need to do more than talking. I need to, no, I'm sorry, I started off with saying hi. And then I told myself, I need to do more than that. So I need to have a conversation with them. Hey, how are you doing today? What do you like about the show? Or what's your favorite piece of the show? To drum up a conversation. Or
Yeah.
just instead of saying hi, because it gives me a little bit more. And then it gives the person something else too. It gives the person something to talk about. And so that's what I started doing. But you're right. It's hard to drum up new friendships.
Yeah.
It's really, especially in the time we're in today, because we have the internet. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to drum up new friends. So I rekindled a couple of buddies. And, I'll start calling them again, and we start kind of hanging out a little bit more. And the good thing is they're retired too.
Hmm.
So that was a good thing. They were retired too. So we were able to have those flexible schedules, so we were able to meet. And sometimes they'll call me, and some of my buddies are much busier than me, and there's some of them are older than me. They'll call me, I'll say, no, I can't do it. I don't do late nights. And they hang out, sorry, they hang out late at night. I don't do late nights.
No.
Sometimes I will, but I don't do real late nights anymore.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's the thing. I think it's rekindling your own friendship, but it is challenging.
Yeah.
It is challenging. But and then I try to, me. I try to remove that out of my head.
Hmm.
That's why I say no, 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 because I was going to these events and I was making contact. I was speaking to people,
Yeah.
but it wasn't any kind of interaction. Just hey, how are you doing? That's it. So I said, I got to do a little more work.
Okay.
I got to do a little more work to really kind of start forming relationships. And then a lot of times, a lot of people will repeat. They'll come to other shows and you see them, and then they see your face and say, "Hey, I remember you from over here. Your other show, I saw you at." So
So speaking
you're
of
right.
shows, though, you are an artist as well, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what you got into diving into your artistic side, was this before you retired, after?
It was before I retired. I probably about I would say now probably about maybe 6 years prior to me retiring.
Okay.
I started doing like collaging. I didn't know I would fall in love with it so much. I started it, and I said I can't stop this. This is really giving me a lot of joy.
Mm-hmm.
So I continue the collaging. So I'm still doing it. Still doing
Okay.
the collaging.
You You've done shows?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I got one coming up.
Oh,
September the 20th.
that's
At
awesome.
the show. It's gonna be at a coffee shop.
Okay. So, okay, so before you retire, you got into collaging, and I'm sure
Yes.
this is carried over, and you've had several shows that you've done on your own and you've been a part of since
Yes.
retiring. And so, what would you say your goal artistically is in this state and in this time in your life?
Well, now my goal is to take more art classes,
Okay.
and my goal was to have 6 shows this year.
How many have you had?
So I've had 5.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is September will be my 5th show.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so it's a joint show, collaborating with another artist. So we've done some work together.
Yeah.
However, I put two pieces of mine in the show. But this is my 5th show for the year. So I got
Oh,
one more to do before the end of December,
that's
and
awesome.
I know it'll get done. It'll get
Yeah.
done. But art classes, want to take some art classes,
Hmm.
and I would like to kind of look into like some fellowships or some what are they called? Not fellowships. Um, residencies.
Okay.
Try to do some residencies just to kind of get my feet wet and that, and but definitely more classes. I signed up for then this is real interesting. I signed up for a beginning art class,
Okay.
beginning drawing class. I'm sorry,
Drawing, huh?
beginning drawing class. Was online. Everything is online, and I was like, oh no, can't do it, can't do it.
I
You
would have
know,
thought it would have been in person since you're drawing like pen to paper nowadays, but no, it's more digital.
it's more in digital. Well, no, it's not digital. You're drawing, taking a picture and whatever you're doing, and you're dropping it in they call it your canvas.
Oh
It's
wow.
a box, an inbox. So the teacher can look at it. Your other classmates can look at it. So you're putting it in the inbox, and everything is on the computer.
Wow.
So I registered for the class, and I found it was all computerized. That's it.
No.
Can't do it. But that's what I got to do too. Next semester, it frightened me. So next semester, I can't get out of it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to
Yeah.
do it. Mm-hmm.
You said you were gonna dive into the world of computers a little bit more.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so 63, right? You're 63. No, you're
No,
60. Come on.
66.
66. You retired at 63.
Yes.
Okay. You retired at 63. You're currently 66. You're
No. In 2 weeks, I'll be 66.
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
I have that on my calendar.
Yeah. And once I turned 63, like my birthday was 14. I think I retired on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
So right after my birthday, I retired.
Wow. Okay. So you are in a space now where you're tackling everything you want to do head on. You're taking trips. You are an artist, so you are definitely going out to different shows, meeting new people, interacting. If you had to tell a 30 something year old person like one or two things about going and preparing for retirement, what would that be? Like as our end all be all, what would you say?
I would say save your money. That's the biggest. Save your money. Don't create a lot of bills. Don't get a lot of credit cards. You know what you want, buy it. And
Yeah.
if you can't buy it, save and then buy it if you can. And if you get a credit card, pay it off.
Yeah.
Get something with okay, with no interest rate. Do those things. Do not create a lot of bills.
Yeah.
And another thing too, travel while you're young.
Travel while you're young.
Travel while you're young. Travel, 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 travel,
Yeah.
and enjoy your life. Don't be afraid to get out that box. Get
Yeah.
out of it. Get out the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one random question, because this is living rent free, she's so random. Let's see. I have to find a really random question for you now.
Oh,
Let's see. Let's step outside the box for a second here.
okay.
Hmm. Oh my God, I'm struggling. Uncle, hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
I think I might have wrote something down. Give me one moment. Is it as random as it needs to be? If I have to look it up, I don't know. But here we go.
Well, because you wrote it down. It was in your thought, but you just don't remember. That's okay.
Okay. Okay. What song do you listen to when you want to hear like your jam that'll change your mood, no matter when, no matter where? What song?
Wow, that's a good one. Let me see. What song would I listen to? It's a couple of songs I'll listen to, but I can't think of the name of them. But I can tell you the artist.
Okay.
I can tell you the genre of music.
Yeah.
Mainly anything by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
And then the genre would be house music.
House.
It would change my mood. If I'm feeling down, it will put me up because of the beats.
Yeah.
And some of the people that I like is a couple of South African groups, uh, Black Coffee and oh God, I can't Black Motion,
Okay.
Black Motion and Black Coffee. And one of the songs is Joy Joy, and
Joy.
it really the beat is so uplifting,
I'm gonna take that
and
down. Joy.
and that's by Black Motion. It really puts me in a different mood. I'm trying to think of an Earth, Wind, and Fire song, and it's not Reasons. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, That's the Way of the World. It
Okay.
just it just reminds me of when we were kids and how we thought, and then how the world kind of wants to change us.
Yeah.
Then we begin to kind of form around the world. But yet that is not, it don't serve us.
Yeah.
That doesn't serve us. That child's mind serves us. So that really uplifts me.
I love
It
that.
really does. Yes.
Okay.
And Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's
You
awesome
cannot
music.
go wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. Well, Uncle Richard McKinley, the artist. What is your artist name? Have you decided on that yet?
Yeah, it's just Richard McKinley. I have
Richard
to change
McKinley?
it. And you can hit me up on wait, Rich St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's it. So you want to see my artwork? Rich St. Louis.
On Instagram, right?
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Nisi.
Awesome.
Yes. Instagram. Yes.
You.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I thank you
Yeah.
so much, Uncle. I'm so blessed to have you on here, and I'm blessed that you're sharing your knowledge about retirement and just being
You're
free,
welcome. You're
right?
welcome. Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
Thank you for the opportunity. And you're for sure welcome. You know that.
I know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love you.
Love you too.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.